Hi. Hello, guys. Just a quick share tonight because I found a really neat video that I shared with my friends, and I want to share with you guys, my other friends, that you probably aren't, if you're not on my Facebook page, and we're not able to kind of share these things. But it was a neat capture of some scout ships. And I just want to apologize to upstairs because I always get mad. I'm always supposed to attract attention and look nice. So I'm in my barn clothes. This is how I normally look. Mm. That's bringing horses in and all that stuff. So yeah, this is the real me. This is and they're probably up there like, so driving home in the dark, Eeka was with me, very strong. So I'm like, oh, okay, I can really feel him. And the backcountry roads, it's all dark and windy, and he's just like I know, so I go, you don't want me driving home in the dark, do you? Like it's like you're driving home then. Like, God. Um, this morning I got an interesting image. Well, first there was the song, it's the Sammy Hagar, Love Walks In, that came on the radio, and they're like, see, I'm like, yo, I like that, right? And then I was given the image of from those Star Wars movies. It was, I guess, after they had won their situation there. I'm not gonna say I'm not a science fiction fan, so they told me when I was little, I was like 5 years old, they're like, you need to like start watching Star Wars. So I'm like, oh, all right, see, there's a blonde man in that movie. And I'm like, oh, okay. They were trying to tell me as like this that I was involved in space stuff, which when you're 5, you don't. And I'm a horse person, so horses are number one in my world. Like, there's a UFO over here, there's a horse over here. I'm going to the horse. Um, so for me as a kid, it didn't register. I just enjoyed the story. Well, I didn't get to see it right away. My parents wouldn't take me, as a little kid to go see that. So I ended up getting the book and kind of reading about that. And it did kind of like something was, I don't know, it was weird. I couldn't put my finger on it, but it was like it made sense. So anyway, yeah, he's mad at me. He doesn't like me going out at night. So I'm like, all right, I'll go at night. So this morning, going to the barn again in the daylight. Yeah, they showed me that. I think is it Return of the Jedi? Those of you who like sci-fi, you'll know it's where they do that celebration scene. Everybody's happy and dancing around. So they showed me that this morning. I'm like, well, I hope that's what's going to happen. All right. So what I want to do now is screen share this. All right. So let's forget if I can get this to work. Yay! Here we go. Getting there. Share. There. See, look at this. Yeah. Feel like I know how to use this stuff. um, so it was a Navy video that I'm going to show here now. And I remote viewed it. So I know I hate to say, whenever you try to explain to people like, what are your feelings? What are your ability to tap into what you're viewing, what's coming across your mind. But when somebody tells you to look at think about it, don't think of a pink elephant, you think of a pink elephant. So, but anyway, I wanted to show this video. I did a short earlier, just kind of like a heads up, like, guys, you got to see this video, right? So, yeah, the Pleiadians are not only working in the U.S. Air Force, but the Nordics, as well, a lot of people call them Nordics. They're working in different places. So I don't know. I'm sure there's other extraterrestrials working there too. So that look like Nordics. Not all Pleiadians have blonde hair. So maybe Tau Ceti in there, maybe some more Alpha Centauri, Proxima Centauri, those kinds of people. So anyway, the Pleiadians are working in the U.S. Air Force. Now they have given the military craft that were built on our planet. So as you know, just to give people a heads up if you're not familiar, so my husband is an Ahel Pleiadian, and he does work for the U.S. Air Force, and he kind of surprised. He does that. Like he doesn't come out and tell me things. He likes to kind of surprise me and keep me kind of guessing and stuff like that. So he showed up to me one morning in uniform, and it was a blue uniform. And for some reason, when I try to do the AI, every time I try to do the AI, they make it a green uniform. I was like, no, it's blue, and they give me a green uniform. So it's like, oh my God. It was a blue uniform. The jumpsuits that they wear, I guess when they're working or something. My father was in the Air Force. Then he joined the army, which kind of you might see that in some of the families. Maybe you have that in your family where you might have a military background and now you're a contactee. Yeah, that can happen, so it's definitely not unusual. But as I say here, the Ahel and other Pleiadians are working for the USA. So Eeka is in the Special Forces. They have a Special Forces Extraterrestrial Division. And he never showed me his badge, but he did show my friend Louise the badge. So he's kind of excited. He likes, I mean, he does. He likes people. I mean, anyway. We're always kind of like good cop, bad cop. I'm the bitch and he's a nice guy. So I always say that, and he never says it like. He likes the challenge. So I don't try to pretend I'm not who I am. I'm rough around the edges. That's just the way it is. Always been, it seems, throughout some past lives as well. Definitely rock and roll. So anyway, he's a commander and they do a lot of technical work. They're trying to show what they've been doing for quite some time. If you know William Mills Tompkins, he came forward many years ago, recently passed away in his 90s, but he was working with Nordics in the different think tanks. TRW, Douglas, there's some great books, and I gave some links in last night's video where Frank Chile came on with Jeff Rohn. So there's some links there to William Mills Tompkins, the texts that were created. Also from Dr. Wood, who did the interviewing, and Frank Chile, who did some interviews as well. And Jeff Rance actually had Mr. Tompkins on his radio program. So the Nordics have been involved with the U.S. military for many decades. They have given the military our craft, the ones that are made on our planet. So they're not built here. They're not the reverse engineered. Now, the military has its own reverse engineered craft. The thing to look at in this video is, what are we looking at? Okay, so you really would need to analyze the video to see if you can get in closer. It's a little bit too far to tell looking at the craft. So I'm just going on a remote view, what I feel. Again, it's a remote view. So, sometimes we're accurate, sometimes we're a little accurate, sometimes, put your percentages there. You're going to be 20, 100, 80, whatever. So I always tell people to use your own discernment, remote view it yourself, see how it flies, right? See what you feel, right? So, yeah. One morning, because I like to do these videos from my bedroom, because this is our bedroom, and I do these videos with Eeka, even though he's kind of busy on and off. He's been a little bit so I wonder why he's busy. So maybe that means there's something going on. But we spend the night together generally. He's a few hours behind me, and depending on his work schedule, he'll pop in and out. So one morning, I told the story before, but in case some people, are just joining us now, one morning he came to me very, very, very clear, and he had dyed his hair. So I wasn't quite sure who it was at first, because I do telepath with many different people who come through to me if they have a message. And again, because I work for the federations, and they do get a lot of contact. And one of the videos I'm going to talk about the work that I did for the Federation actually, this is a fun one, because he didn't tell me initially, but under Eeka's command, I worked with three guys, three extraterrestrial guys. It was pretty fun time. But that one morning, I'm like, who's this? Oh my God, it was him. It's like, oh, you dyed your hair. I was like, yeah. And he's like, yeah, I dyed my hair. And I'm like, so I'm looking at what he's wearing, and his hair was blowing in a weird way. So I'm like, where's going? So when you telepath, images are not like you would think when you see a room or something like that. It comes in a strange way. Like you might get an impression of what an area looks like, but not in detail. And people always ask you, well, what color, shirt were they wearing, or sometimes it's like, sometimes you see that, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you're focused on their face or their hands or some kind of weird thing. So that's what, as you guys know, watching this channel, right? That's what telepathy is like. So he was bringing me in, basically. I could see what he was wearing. He's like, look what I'm wearing. I'm like, the heck? like it's a blue jumpsuit. I'm like, the blue jumpsuit. Like, what the heck? It's like a military looking thing. It's not our military. It's Earth, like it's Earth military. And the way his hair was blowing, I'm like, why is it's blowing like down? So I'm like, that's really weird wind, you know? Like what? I'm like, that's a helicopter. So he was sitting in the door of a helicopter, one of those, I guess they call them Chinooks or Blackhawks, or I don't like, I'm terrible. I just remember it was like the big ones. Right? So he was sitting in the door. This is the closest I could get to AI from this because I was getting more of a top view. And I'm like, that's what I said. You're in the military? He's like, he's in the military. You're in like, do that. And I asked him, like, do they know? And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, you're gonna like, I'm like freaking out. I'm like, is this a good idea? How did you do this? Right. Um, and then I was just thinking, oh, you look more masculine. I remembered, and he didn't like you. He's like, oh, you disappointed. I'm like, no, 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 sorry. It was anyway. Like, no. Um, so after that, I went to the bar and my friend Patrick, I'm like, Patrick, I'm like, Eeka's in the military. He's like, well, I'm like, he's in the Air Force. I'm like, what? Because I looked up the uniform. I said, it's a blue uniform. That's the Air Force. I was like, that seems, is that a good idea? You know, anyway, but no, they are. And so is it a good idea? Well, Mets and Mets, I guess. Like, you know, he ended up that was his role is in the Federation is as a fighter, and that's what he did. And I'm a little bit concerned now about what might be rolling out because, you know, are they going to fight again? So yeah, a little bit of that kind of, I don't know. So I was like, we'll see how this rolls. So there's actually a really great, in case you guys haven't seen it, I'll put the link in the bottom. JP did another video which has been, I think, corroborated by a lot of what we're seeing coming through not only Farsight, but what you might be feeling yourself and what your family is telepathing to you. So I think you're going to really enjoy that. I'm going to put the link in the bottom there. So cool stuff. Anyway, here's the video that I want to share with you guys. Like I said, does disclosure seem to be close? Here, yeah, it's blurry. I tried to pull it up on my phone, so I ended up just remote viewing it. And this is scouts. These are scout ships escorted by the Navy, and great capture by whoever captured this. I just know it came from. It's courtesy of UFO God. So if you go on Facebook, you can join that. So it was caught on 11/19, and these are the scouts. One day I was coming home from work. I work at university, and I'm a professor there, and I'm coming home, and it was like 11 o'clock in the morning, and one of these was following alongside of my mom's car. She had done some shopping, so she was driving, and so I couldn't say anything. So I look out the window, and it's a scout ship, and that's what they look like, and it's just flying at the height, a little higher than that, like the way people fly private planes. And I thought it was a helicopter at first. But then I was like, oh, it doesn't have any helicopter features. Like, oh no, that's a scout. So I telepathed with it and I said, are you government? And they said, no, we're not. And they followed us pretty, I'd say for a couple of miles, and then they went down over the tree line. So that is what they look like. To me, in the remote view, I got that those are made on our home planet. They're made on the Pleiades. They're not Terran built. That's what I got for information. I know that the Terrans have a lot of technology brought in, you know, a lot is brought in from the Pleiades. It is, you know, Ahel technology. So I got a funny feeling from these craft. They don't feel extraterrestrial. I mean, the craft themselves, yes, they said it's extraterrestrial. But I got it, like, I didn't get, yeah, this, because normally you see a craft, you know, it's extraterrestrial, or that's a man-made craft. I asked, is this flown by Terrans? Because the way these ships are moving, I get this sensation. So this is what you want to do when you watch something or you see something. What sensations are coming into your body? How would you describe what you're seeing? What are the words? You don't want to think about it. You want to just you want to feel what kind of words pop in. And I got a very strong sense of like tentative. See, they're not moving. See, that's not the way an ET craft would be flown. I get a very tentative, very metered, very careful. It just feels restrained. I get a real strong sense of restraint and a little bit of uncomfortable. I feel uncomfortable. So I believe these are flown by Earth humans, military Earth humans. You can see the shadow under there as well, so you kind of watch the way they fly and like make sure that the video seems authentic. The only way you can tell about the authenticity of a video is to have it professionally analyzed. Obviously, I'm not going to do that. So if somebody wants to do that, go ahead. It does feel real to me. Doesn't feel manufactured. And I know that this is how the rollout is supposed to happen because your average Earth human respects the military. To have these ships escorted by military would be a really good idea to calm down or sort of relax your average Terran. It's worth considering, which I know for many of us watching here is kind of a shocker because you're like, what? But your average run-of-the-mill everyday Joe walking the streets, if you say alien to them or you show them a craft, they're going to think little green men. They're going to think like they're grays. So it feels very strange to them. That's their mindset. They're not thinking the way we're thinking, where these would be, humans, people born on other planets, right? Extraterrestrial humans are the ones we're working with, right? So that's way outside the belief or understanding of your average person. So when we talk extraterrestrials and UFOs, your average person immediately goes to like sci-fi, right? So it's strange. I never understood. For me, I never went sci-fi. I never saw any difference between like Earth is just a planet in the solar system. For me, and I know for a lot of you contactees that are watching this, and the great folks that are going to be coming on the show coming up, we're all the same, right? We're just regular people who lived our entire life with extraterrestrials. So we never thought of it as anything odd, having portals open up in your room, that's a Wednesday, hearing voices in your head, that's a Thursday, seeing things in your mind, no big deal. It's that we've just used to it our whole life. However, and that's sort of the glitch is that your average Terran is not anywhere near that understanding, is not familiar to them. The only thing they understand is what they've been fed by not only the deep state, the cabal, but what they see on the TV shows and all that stuff. So different world, literally, between us and them, So we're part of our job is that the go-between, right? So when the ships come in, you're gonna be like, another Wednesday is another ship, land the bastard, right? And other people are gonna be freaking out. And you're gonna be like, that's but your role is to be a diplomat and facilitate this kind of interaction. So yeah, this video is intriguing to me. I got that. That's what I was feeling, very uncomfortable. Like flying this was difficult, but more in the mental sense of not being familiar with the process. So you guys know how craft are flown, and you've probably been in them, and you understand what it feels like to work with these kinds of ships. Some of you probably remember flying them yourself, So, but I'm getting very unfamiliar, very challenging. Not that it's difficult, but that it's just very different. It's not driving a car, right? So if these guys are used to, more than likely, Eeka didn't do a lot of training, so I don't know per se. He would have liked to have trained a lot of them Air Force and Navy air people, whatever they call them. I don't know the military. He would have liked to have been involved in the actual training. He would have enjoyed that. But because of his status as an officer, he didn't get to do that. So I don't, all I know is what he's told me about, generally it was other extraterrestrials that were working, again, Federation extraterrestrials in the military, in the Earth military, that were doing the training of these people, the humans, to fly these. So it felt like that to me. It definitely felt awkward. And I didn't feel an extraterrestrial presence, but yes, because it's in the background, I got, yes, there were assistants. So there were probably what we call Nordics. Now, there's no such thing as, if anybody didn't know, there's no such thing as a Nordic extraterrestrial. We don't have Nordics. I mean, that Norwegians, Swedes, that. So the Nordic is a term that Terrans gave to these people. They didn't know where they were from, so they just came up with, well, they look like Nordics. All right, so there is no extraterrestrial race called Nordic. As you know, like I'm Ahel, and then there's Tall, and you have your other races as well, Vega and different places like that. But yeah, it's generally you feel, so when you meet someone from, say, Sirius A, right? If you were to meet somebody, they don't come up to you and say, oh, hi, my name is Mary and I'm from Sirius A. They don't come up and say where they're from, usually, because you can feel it, you just know. So upstairs, you don't generally ask where somebody's from because you already know. You can feel it. So yeah, it is what it is. But this is
what is that, bro?
Feel like there's some teaching going on too. So spend some time with this video, you guys. Like, don't necessarily, this is my remote view, have your own. Can't wait to hear from you guys in the comments. Let me know what you're getting from this. I also, like I said, I feel that there's some teaching, like they're learning how to control these ship and how to, like, I almost feel like how to do a formation like this, how to keep it at a certain height above the water. I'm getting this, like it's a lesson. Finishes with the Navy craft, human-made regular airplane type stuff, not electrogravitic propulsion, your basic dinosaur fuel, gas propulsion stuff, following the I got extraterrestrial built craft, probably Nordic, probably Pleiadian built. So can't wait to hear from you guys. Do your own remote view of this video, and place in the comments what you're feeling, what you're sensing. And if remote viewing is new to you, play with it. Spend some time. I know it's hard because you just heard, now you're like, don't think of a pink elephant. It's the worst thing. Anybody who's psychic is going to tell you, don't give me information. Don't tell me. It's like, I'll never get that out of my head. But play it and, see what kind of feeling you're getting from that. Now, what I get from the human crafts that are following, the human airplane things, whatever those are, I can't even tell if they're helicopters. Are they jets? I can't tell. Airplanes or helicopters, whatever. They're happy. I'm getting they're like, so the ones in the craft I feel are like really trying to focus. This is very difficult. This is very strange. This is like a lot of pressure. And then from the ones that are the escort, and this video says it's like Navy versus, that's nonsense. That's, God, people grow up. This is an escort. This is all planned. Okay. And it's meant to be disclosure. So they're very excited. I feel a lot of excitement. I feel like they feel really happy. They couldn't wait to do this. To follow the craft is like really, really fun. And I can't wait for this all to happen because I just like, I really feel that, like, and he's in back of me now. I can feel, he's like, it's like, he's like, it's good. It's just his childlike joy. So, yeah, when it's just every once in a while I get these waves of like really like stuff's really great. And you know, people need to understand. I know there's negative stuff out there. And that's great because people are thinking, they're trying to feel their way through this. And it's just going to be great. It's going to be really amazing. And as you all know here, most of our viewers are contactees. So like, how amazing, awesome, the best thing that ever happened. Like I can't, it's like living a dream. Like is just the best. So you guys know what it's like. So anyway, yeah, definitely can't wait to hear from you. Have a wonderful Friday evening. Cheers.